Hi there. I just got a question from a student, and the question was, what is illegal argument exception and illegal state exception? Those were things that I used in the card class to validate whether the constructor arguments were correct. Well, this is kind of more of a Java prerequisite, so I'm going to explain it in a Java class. So illegal argument exception and illegal state exception both come from the world of Java. So let me demonstrate. I'm going to create a constructor. So supposing you want to make sure that nobody ever passes in a negative value for the x or y, what you would do is you would say if x less than 0, throw new illegal argument exception. And you might say x must be positive. Spell positive. Positive. All right. So, and you might also do the same thing for y. Now, what this does is kind of like a return value, but whoever calls points constructor, in other words, whichever piece of code says new point, will now potentially need a try catch, because if this condition happens, if x is negative, it's going to throw an exception. Now, I'm not going to get into exception handling because exception handling is really part of Java, and that's kind of a prerequisite, and it's a big topic. So that's an illegal argument exception. That means somebody passed in an illegal argument, and this is your way to communicate that. And you want to catch that error as soon as possible. That's called fail fast. So that's what that's all about. That's illegal argument exception. Now, let's say you had some other place in your code. Let's say you had a piece of code called, let's go back to our card class. So let's say we had a class called card in Java. And if you recall, we had int, so in Java it would look like this, private int suit was one of the properties. And another was value. So now, let's say I have a constructor here. So in the constructor, we would validate that I'm just going to deal with suit. We're going to say if suit is less than 1, or if suit is greater than 4, throw new illegal argument exception. All right, so we already kind of talked about that. But there's the other case, and that is, remember we had a method called suit name, all right, to create suit name. So suit name assumes that this is valid. So what we would say is if suit is then here we wouldn't say illegal argument exception because this function takes no arguments. Instead, if somebody calls this method and these values are invalid, then that means the object has gotten into an invalid state. So here we would say illegal state exception. And so that's it. So illegal argument exception and illegal state exception are really just part of broader topic of Java exception handling. And so that's kind of a prerequisite for the course, but I thought it would be, obviously there's a lot of people who maybe know a little bit of Java, but not all of it, and so I thought I'd go into this. But exception handling is a broader topic, and it's actually kind of a large topic, and it's a little bit bigger than I can get into, but that's just a little bit of how to deal with of what illegal argument exception is and illegal state exception is. So hopefully that helps. Signing out.